All right, tonight we have a public hearing, but I'd ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Tonight is a public hearing on creation of the Hillside Water District. I'd ask the clerk to read the notice.
Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Warwick will hold a public hearing to consider introductory local law number 6 of 2023, forming a special district pursuant to Article 12-A of Town Law entitled Hillside Water District. Said public hearing to be held Thursday, October 12, 2023 at 7:15 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard at the Town Hall, 132 Kings Highway, Warwick, New York. All interested persons will be given the opportunity to be heard.
Okay, so before I open for public comment, this is the taking over of a private water system, and we've done the analysis of the system, the condition of the system. We've talked to the Orange County Health Department. They would prefer it be a municipal system. When we did the analysis of the cost, the potential savings for residents are in the neighborhood of $700 to $800 a year, and it will now be under, as of January 1st, if we create the district, the auspices of the town to maintain, to monitor, and to provide the water service to the residents. We did meet with residents a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little longer, and explained this. There seemed to be a consensus to move forward, and from the town board's perspective, if we can help the residents save money, it makes sense. So this is the map of the district boundaries, which essentially is Hillside Avenue. You're familiar with your parcels, no doubt. And then this was the analysis we did, which shows what your operational charge per quarter, your capital charge per quarter will be, and your total per quarter. So again, it's a savings of roughly $800. I did speak to the owners of the system. There's going to be about a $2,200 capital amount that will come to the town, which we will keep in reserve for any upgrades that we need to make. In the capital charge you see on this document, it finances the purchase, which I had mentioned originally they wanted $150,000. We got down to $75,000 to save you some more money, and so it includes the financing of that over 20 years, and it also builds a little capital reserve for upgrades to the system. At this point, I would offer the floor to questions or concerns. If you would like to make a comment, please come to the microphone and give us your name. Seeing none, I'm assuming you're happy that we're going to create this district. Okay. The timeline on this is there is a resolution tonight to create the district, and then it's subject to a 30-day permissive referendum period, which means if a certain number of residents of the Hillside District decides they don't like the idea, they could get a referendum forced. I don't anticipate that happening, but until the 30 days is up, we can't formally send it off to the controller's office. But there's plenty of time for us to get it in place to take operation in January 1st. The operators of your system is the same that the town uses on all its systems, so that's helpful. And they're familiar with the system, and they know how to operate the system, so you won't see any change there. I know there was some questions about hopefully potentially metering. That's a project that can happen going forward, and we can assess how to do that. So, seeing any other comment? Any comment from the board? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Later on the meeting, the regular meeting, is when we would pass the resolution. So you're welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go home if you'd like. All right? But we are in favor of the resolution. So, all right? Thank you all for coming. Okay, so we want to continue down through the agenda, and tonight, we do have a hearing of a revocation potential of a Airbnb permit, short-term rental permit, and it's for the property of 105 DK Road, and I believe the owners are here tonight. All right, so you had 3 violations that were noticed. We had revised our code to make it easier for the town to act upon short-term rentals that were violating our ordinance. And while we are not opposed to short-term rentals, we are opposed to permit holders who fail to abide by the regulations. You need to recognize that you are in a neighborhood and that there are neighbors' concerns with a short-term rental. So we're going to give you the opportunity, you have that under the code, to talk about why the permit should not be revoked. It does remain in effect until such time as we make a decision. We won't make that decision tonight. We take your testimony, and then we'll confer about that at the next meeting on October 26th, and have a decision for the first meeting in November, which would be the 2nd of November. So if you'd come forward and just state your name for the record and address the 3 concerns. You were cited for advertisement and occupancy of 12 guests when only 8 maximum are permitted. Excessive noise and amount of people, 40 to 50 on the site on February 5th, and advertisement and occupancy of 10 guests when only a maximum of 8 are permitted. And then I think there's an issue of a dumpster on the front lawn. So you want to come forward and speak to the issue and just give us your name for the record? That'd be great. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Solomon Francis. First of all, I didn't know there's an issue with a dumpster in front of the house. I would really like to address it and to correct it. Also, when we had that, it was a charity event that the owner actually made in the house back in February. It wasn't actually an Airbnb, a rental, which we're really sorry about. We've gone and took steps that it shouldn't happen such things when guests come. We put in noise detectors. There's a device from a company that's called Noise Aware that detects, it gives us a report when people come in, if there's a crowd detected, or if there's any smoke going into the house, coming into the house, or there's any excessive noise more than the amount that it should be, and we get alerts. Additionally, we're trying every time a guest arrives, we do greet them at the door, so we make sure that it's true what they wrote by how many occupancies that will come. We do run a background check on every person that books it through Airbnb or VRBO. We try to be very consistent on that, so we keep everything safe. I had put this dumpster because I didn't want there should be any mess around the house just with one garbage can or 2 garbage cans. I thought it would be more safer and cleaner if there's a nice little dumpster, so it's covered and it's being picked up twice a week. If that's an issue, I really want to fix it. And I'm truly sorry about the advertisement. I was on 2 different sites. I didn't notice because in one room we have 4 beds. Automatically the site changed the number from 8 guests to 12 guests, and we've corrected it once we got the notice.
So your current advertisements show 8 maximum, correct? Okay. Yeah, the dumpster can't be on the front there. I mean, if it was secured somewhere else on the property and
Be like
covered,
back of the
you
house or
know,
something?
well, it would have to be, you know, a stockade fence or something around it. It can't be out visible on the property, so.
Thank you. I
All right.
appreciate that.
All right, so, I don't know if people have any questions. Again, you know, you're in a neighborhood and, you know, people are there, and so we've set up a process, the police department will be implementing it, that when a complaint comes into them, they'll have the address and the record, either owner or agent, and they'll be called by the department, and they'll be instructed to be there within an hour. And you need a registered agent that's in Orange County. I don't know who yours is, I didn't look at your permit, but they need to be able to respond within an hour. It's good that you have devices there to alert you, but there has to be action taken when you get that notice.
I would really appreciate that if we can get a call if there's something going on, so we can, you know. Additionally, we do have cameras on all 4 sides of the property, so we do monitor it a lot. We try to be safe.
Any questions for the gentleman? Okay, so again, the process is going to be in 2 weeks. When we reconvene, we'll have a discussion, public discussion. You can view it. You don't have to be here physically. You can. We have a YouTube channel, so you can see it. And a decision would then be made on November 2nd. The permit remains in effect until that time, till the decision is rendered. Okay?
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for
your
coming
time.
tonight.
I really appreciate it.
All right, and thank you for coming. All right, is it 7:30? Oh, yes, you're gonna make that, you should make that public presentation to the board. Oh, the revocation, okay, you're right. We had another discussion. Last meeting, we had, 2 meetings ago, we had a presentation by another violation of, and that was 20 Deer Pond Drive. And that was the attorney who came and the agent who came, and they discussed what they've done to ensure that they remain within the code in their operations. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that presentation, any concerns there. They seemed, I haven't had any other calls on them yet. So, what's your pleasure? I can prepare resolutions for you for next meeting. That's when you would decide anyway. If you want to think about it a little bit more, you need to let me know between now and then as to what you want to do with them. The 20 Miller Lane, we were due to have a decision on that permit this evening, and based on the testimony from the owners, it seemed like they were making efforts. But I did get this week, which I provided to all of you, subsequent complaints about violations. So I think those complaints now need to be taken into consideration. This is a repeat violator. We took them at their word when they testified last meeting, but this is new information. So we need to verify the information and the complaint, and then I would say that we would have that discussion at our next meeting as well, all right? Okay. And so is that all of them, Madam Clerk? Yes. And now you have something to present to the board tonight, correct?
Well, there was a petition for zone change at Sanfordville Road for senior housing, to change the district there.
Okay, so for the public's information, we have in the town zoning code something called a senior housing floating zone. It's designed to be a zone that is brought down on a parcel of property that has different underlying zoning, and it provides some provisions, some bonus benefits to whoever's going to produce the senior housing for doing so. And we have had our very first petition to do that, and it's a 2-part petition. It's a text change, and the reason it's a text change is that property on Sanfordville Road is in the office industrial zone, which is a commercial zone that has no underlying residential density. The senior housing floating zone criteria uses for the density of the zone the underlying residential density. So the text change is suggesting that you use the adjacent density of the residential district to the OI zone. The senior housing floating zone is allowed to be drawn down in the OI zone. It's just, it's a flaw in our analysis when we created the zone back in 2002 that we didn't take into account. There was no residential density in the OI zone. This, in my opinion, in reviewing the petition, this is a perfect use for this piece of property. It's a 70-acre parcel. They're going to use a fraction of it, keep the remainder open. It's across from the Sanfordville School. It will provide moderate income senior housing, and will have little impact, certainly none on school systems, pretty low amount on traffic. The process is if we're willing to accept the petition tonight, and they have submitted it with the fee, we would then refer it to the town planning board, and they have 60 days in which to give us their professional opinion as to the benefit of bringing the zone down. That would then advise us on how we might rule to bring it down. We would then have a hearing to bring the zone down. Once we do that, it goes to the applicant to then make a full application to the planning board for full planning board review, environmental review. In the petition, the applicant has provided an initial sort of a generic environmental impact statement to show if this were to move forward through the planning board, what impact it might have on, again, traffic, school, et cetera. So there is that analysis for the planning board to consider. And then we would look forward to their recommendation. They have 60 days to do it before we could act. So we will refer to them. They have a planning board meeting next Wednesday. It'll formally be given to them at that point, and we will hopefully receive their opinions, and then we can move forward. I think for us it's rather exciting because it is the first time that this zone will be used in the town. It will help free up existing housing stock in our town, which is at short supply, to say the least. And it will provide, hopefully, some moderate income housing for some of our seniors who would like to remain in town, but maybe not in their own single-family home. So, and I have met with the applicant. He has built many of these in New York State, so it's not that he is not familiar with it. He's also familiar with the aesthetics of our community and what we would like to see in terms of architectural style, and he's very interested in doing just that. So do I have the consent of the board to accept the petition this evening?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and we will refer it to the planning board. All right, very good. Thank you very much. All right, now we would move into the regular meeting, and I would ask the clerk to call the roll, please. Good night. Thank you.
Supervisor Sweeten?
Here.
Councilman Gerstner? Councilman D'Angelo?
Here.
Councilman Cole?
Here.
Councilman Schuback?
Here.
DPW Commissioner Astorino? First Sergeant Morley.
Great, thank you. Correspondence is summarized on page, may I have a motion to accept the minutes of September 28th, the public hearing minutes of September 28th, and the revocation hearing minutes of September 28th?
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Correspondence is summarized on page 1 and 2. I don't have any discussion of that. Anyone else? Then let's move right into reports, and let us hear from Councilman D'Angelo.
Good evening. From the Warwick Humane Society, they are currently housing 17 dogs, and they're in need of canned dog food, preferably Merrick or Natural Balance. And they have, at the present time, they have 12 shelter dogs that are purebreds, and they're all open for adoption. And it might be a good idea, if you want a purebred dog, you might want to go and visit them. Now, due to the influx of kittens, they're also in need of pate canned cat and kitten food. And there's a reminder, they want to remind you to please call the shelter before dropping off any donations due to lack of storage space. And they are hiring. They're looking for a full-time animal control officer. You must be 21 years old, with clean driver's license and record, have animal experience, must work weekends, and be available on designated nights for emergencies. If you're interested, call 845-986-2473 for a working interview. And that's all I have for the Humane Society. The Town of Warwick Friendly Visitor Program for the month of September, the number of neighbors assisted that month was 22. The number of volunteers assisting neighbors was 23. The total number of services provided by those volunteers was 215. Then the number of hours providing those service was 136. And they're having a friendly visitor training, volunteer training program. If you're interested in helping someone with transportation, shopping, visits, calls, and chores, there's a friendly visitor program volunteer training will be held in person at their Middletown office at 720 Route 17 Middletown. And you can either call 845-341-1173, extension 305, or simply email to volunteer@iforange.org. And that's on October 31st at 10 a.m. in person.
You have to wear a costume?
What?
You have to wear a costume? It's Halloween.
No, I know it's
All
Halloween. No, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Cole.
No report.
Councilman Gershner.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. DPW have been busy rebuilding catch basins on Royal Court, working on opening ditches on Belleville Lakes Road. They've been taking down trees at O&R on Miller's Lane and DK Road, filling our potholes with hot mix, and as needed, the vehicle maintenance, emergency repairs, road signs, and they repaired a water main break on Jersey Ave, and our environmental consultants report for the Sewer District 1, Tech Park, 385,240 gallons, 4.36%. Wickham Village, 6,484,010 gallons, 73.42%. Kings Estates, 1,962,460 for 22.22%. The total district flow is 8,831,710 gallons for an average daily flow of 294,390 gallons. In our fairgrounds through District 2, total flow of 125,006 gallons for an average flow of 4,167 gallons. Thank you.
All right. Councilman Schuback.
Nothing to report this time.
Town Clerk's report.
The fees collected for the month of September were $35,577.62, and the fees paid out were $15,769.26. And just to let everybody know that we're still selling hunting licenses, but you cannot get doe tags again until November 1st. They shut it down for the month.
Really? Okay. Very good, thank you. Good report. Supervisor's report. We are in the middle of our town budget process. We had a budget hearing the other day, and we have a lot of work to do. We will pass schedule a hearing on a local law to exceed the tax cap. We hope that we do not exceed it, but if we do not pass the local law, we would not be able to in the event that we cannot get under the cap, which is 2%, even though inflation is running anywhere from 4 to 6%. And the increase in costs of state-required health care and retirement are in double-digit numbers, but we still need to stay under the cap. So we'll have to see where we go with this. Just so you know, the preliminary budget is due on 11/1. That is the budget that will go to the hearing. The hearing will be held in this room at 7 p.m. on November 9th, and it needs to be adopted at our meeting on 11/16. Community preservation receipts for September were down a little bit. That's not surprising, consider it's the month of September when school taxes are due. But it came in at still a hearty $85,374.72 amount, which brings the total to date since its inception in 2007 to a total of $16,471,599.05. So that's good stuff. I will make note that on October 20th at 7 p.m. at Mountain Lake Park in the outdoor pavilion, there's going to be a celebration of Hank Williams, and it's a benefit to raise money for Spina Bifida Association, so we'll hold that up for the camera. You can get tickets by going to Eventbrite, and it's Hank Williams Centennial. Hank Williams, I've learned, suffered from spina bifida. Unfortunately became an alcoholic because of it and died at a young age. So this is a great benefit, and Rome Food Truck will be there for food. There will be adult beverages served. And the evening is going to be headlined by our own Marty Coopersmith. And Marty Coopersmith is one of the original members of Jay and the Americans, which is exciting. And Marty's a great personality, and it's going to be a great show and a great tribute to Hank Williams. So please come out and support that effort, if you will. And you'll see the beautiful Mountain Lake Park. And hopefully it'll be a crisp evening, but not a cold evening, right? All right, so we're hoping. Journal entries were made with the comptroller. They were all in order, and I'm happy about that. And my report is in the Dispatch religiously and in the Advertiser to some extent. So now we'll move into privilege of the floor for anybody on agenda. No questions? Fine, then let's move into resolutions. And I would make a motion to adopt a resolution to schedule a public hearing regarding the 2022-2023 MS4 annual report. Said hearing to be held at Thursday, October 26, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. at the Town Hall, 132 Kings Highway, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard.
Second.
Discussion, this is a requirement every year. We're an MS4 community designated such by the New York State DEC, and we are required to file a report with them showing our progress in terms of preserving, protecting surrounding areas to the lake, the environment, runoff, septics, how our building department and planning department manage stormwater in applications before it. So that report will be the subject of the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion on another public hearing?
Motion to adopt a resolution to schedule a public hearing to consider adoption of a proposed introductory local law number 7 of 2023 to exceed a 2% property tax cap. Said public hearing to be held 7:30 p.m. on October 26, 2023, or as soon or after as the matter may be heard at the Town Hall, 132 Kings Highway, Town of Warwick.
Second.
Any discussion? As I mentioned in the report, you know, it is a safety valve measure, and we'll take comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on the Justice Court grant.
Motion to adopt a resolution that the Town Board of the Town of Warwick authorizes the Town of Warwick Town Court to apply for a JCAP grant in the 2023-2024 grant cycle for $7,554.35 to purchase 2 new standalone copiers for the court office and courtroom.
Second.
Any discussion? We thank the court staff and the justices for pursuing these grants. They've been successful multiple years, and it saves us money. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on approval.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting approval for Craftify LLC DBA Drownlands Brewery to hold a 5K run on State School Road, October 14th, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. A certificate of liability is on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on a request.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting permission to Spina Bifida Association of New York to serve alcohol at Mountain Lake Park on October 20th, 2023. Certificate of liability and liquor liability insurance is on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to request to serve alcohol.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting permission for Jessica Keith to serve alcohol at Mountain Lake Park on October 29th, 2023. Certificate of liability and liquor liability insurance is on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to serve alcohol.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting permission for Michael Cohn to serve alcohol at the Wickham Woodland Manor on November 12th, 2023. Certificate of liability and liquor liability insurance is on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on a resignation.
Motion to adopt a resolution to accept the resignation of Department of Public Works laborer Brendan Kozlar, effective October 14th, 2023.
Second.
We wish him well in his new endeavor.
Thank you
All
for
in
the
favor?
service, yep. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt a resolution adopting local law number 5 of 2023, a local law providing for a partial tax exemption upon real property based upon the owner's volunteer membership in fire districts and ambulance districts of the town of Warwick pursuant to section 466A of the real property tax law.
Second.
Is there
And I'm going to abstain.
any discussion?
I'm going to abstain on it.
You are a volunteer firefighter, so we appreciate that service and your abstention. All in favor? 1 abstention. Motion carries. Motion on authorization.
Motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a side order of agreement with the SCEA, providing additional pay of $10 per hour for the Department of Public Works plow drivers during snow events.
Second.
For the public's discussion, this is a great compromise that we appreciate the union making with us. We used to have to hire riders essentially to ride with the professionals, and they stepped up during the COVID crisis actually to say they could do this on their own. They do it very well. There's no diminishing of service, and we want to reward them for the extra effort that they've made, and that's what this resolution does. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on authorization.
Motion to adopt a resolution authorizing supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Greenville Lake allowing construction of a skate park at Town of Warwick, Benwood Stanley Park located in the Village of Greenville Lake.
Second.
So again, for the public's discussion, we own, it's a town park, the Winstanley Park in the Village of Greenwood Lake, and the not-for-profit group that's raised money to build the skate park had got our consent to put it in the park, and they're now ready to just about get it constructed. They plan to, that became the issue, they plan to give it to the Village of Greenwood Lake to own and operate. And so we need an agreement between us so that our liabilities are reduced. The Greenwood Lake Village's liability is fall on them.
Right.
So, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to waive a 30-day wait period.
Motion to adopt a resolution to waive a 30-day wait period for New York State liquor license for the American Grill, Inc., located at 25 County Park Lane, Warwick, New York, 10990.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? This is the vendor, I believe, in the county park, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hickory.
Hickory Hill.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to approve vacation carryover.
Motion to adopt a resolution to approve 6 vacation days to be carried over into 2024 for heavy equipment operator Robert Morris due to unexpected circumstances.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt a resolution to refund a building department application fee in the amount of $210 back to George DeGraw for a withdrawn permit for a carport as per the recommendation letter dated September 29, 2023 from the building inspector.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on an appointment.
Motion to adopt a resolution to appoint Coley D. Chivado as a part-time police dispatcher at a rate of pay of $19 per hour, effective October 14th, 2023, as per the recommendation letter dated September 25th, 2023, from the police chief.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt the resolution to accept the following negative declaration pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to Article 8 State Environmental Quality Review Act of the Environmental Conservation Law. The Town of Warwick, as a lead agency, has determined that the proposed action described below will not have a significant environmental impact, and a draft impact statement will not be prepared. The name of the action is the creation of the Hillside Water District. Seeker status is unlisted. It's a condition. It is not a condition negative declaration, and the description of the action is the project involves the creation of a municipal water district by acquisition of a private water system, and the location is in the town of Warwick, Orange County, Hillside Avenue in the hamlet of Bellevale. The reasons supporting this determination are as follows. The Town of Warwick Town Board has given due consideration to the subject action as defined in 6 NYCRR 617.2B and 617.3G. And after reviewing the environmental assessment form EAF for the project, the Town Board has concluded that the environmental effects of the proposed action will not exceed any of the criteria for determining significance found in 6 NYCRR 617.7C. The action will create the water district service area to encompass the existing private water system. Sufficient capacity exists to service the district. No construction activities will be authorized by the proposed action, and any future development will be subject to the Town of Warwick zoning law after a seeker review of its environmental effects.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt the resolution adopting local law number 6 of 2023, local law number 6, which forms a special district pursuant to Article 12A of the Town Law entitled Create the Hillside Water District, and order and determination creating the Hillside Water District as set forth below. Whereas a map, plan, and report have been prepared in such manner and in such detail as heretofore have been determined by the Town Board of the Town of Warwick, Orange County, New York, relating to the creating of the Hillside Water District in said town, and whereas such map, plan, and said report was prepared by HDR, a competent engineering firm duly licensed by the state of New York, showing the area of the proposed district and a general plan of the said system and a report on the extent of improvements necessary. And whereas the area of such extension is set forth in Schedule A, and whereas an order was duly adopted by the Town Board of the Town of Warwick on October 12, 2023, reciting the filing of said map, plan, and report, the improvements proposed and the boundaries of the proposed district, the maximum amount proposed to be expended for such improvements to be installed in such district, including the purchase price of $75,000, the cost to be borne by the properties in the creation, and the fee for new hookups, and the annual cost to the typical property owner will not be substantially changed. The fact that the map, plan, and report describing the same are on file in the town clerk's office for public inspection, and stating all other matters required by law to be stated and specifying October 12, 2023 at 7:15 p.m. on that day as the time and town hall located at 132 Kings Highway, Warwick, New York, is the place where the said town board would meet to consider such map, plan, and report, and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same, and to take such action thereon as required or authorized by law. And whereas such order was duly published and posted as required by law, and whereas permission of the state controller to create such district may be required because the cost is to be financed by bonds or other evidence of indebtedness, and whereas a hearing on said matter was duly held by the town board on October 12, 2023 at 7:15 p.m. of that day at the town hall located at 132 Kings Highway, New York, Warwick, New York, and full discussion of this matter having been fully heard, and after due consideration, it is determined and ordered, based on the map, plan, and report, the environmental assessment form reviewed by this board, and the recommendation of the town engineering consultant, and for the reasons set forth in the seeker negative declaration attached hereto, this board determines that this action will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment. And be it further resolved and determined and ordered that the notice of hearing was published and posted as required by law and is otherwise sufficient, that all property and property owners within the proposed districts are benefited thereby, and that all property and property owners' benefit are included within the limits of the proposed district, and that it is in the public interest to create the Hillside Water District. And be it further determined and ordered that the owner of the property with the district created shall provide all service connections, and be it further determined and ordered that the town clerk shall cause a certified copy of the order to be duly recorded to the office of the clerk in the county of Orange, New York, and such clerk shall also, within 10 days after adoption of this order, cause a certified copy thereof to be filed in duplicate in the office of the State Department of Audit and Control at Albany, New York. The Schedule A includes all section, block, and lots of the properties in the district, and a copy of the map entitled Hillside Water District dated April 27, 2012, prepared by Leggett, Brashears, and Graham Inc. Engineering, is on file in the Orange County Clerk's office.
Second.
I would ask for one amendment, and that would be to state that the annual cost to the typical property owner will be less than the existing charge.
And I'll
Do you
amend
want
my
us-
second.
All right. Because there is a savings of close to $800. Now may I ask the clerk to call the roll?
Supervisor Sweden?
Aye.
Councilman D'Angelo?
Aye.
Councilman Cole?
Aye.
Councilman Gerstner?
Aye.
Councilman Schubach?
Aye.
Let the record show 5 ayes, 0 nays.
This resolution is subject to a permissive referendum within 30 days. Any other discussion? May I have a motion to pay the duly audited bills?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. At this point, we'd offer privilege of order to anyone. May I have any last comments from the board?
No.
Then a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all.
Thank you.